Hello, hey, hi, everybody, social media family, being whatsoever racist, but then not necessarily being whatever walks of life, fashions of society, or lifestyle preferences, and being of the old and young alike, both two sexual genders, the males and females, representing not only the human species, but the global community within this post 911 era of a new millennium of apocalyptic day and age, and where the doomsday clock is now at a couple few minutes to midnight, compared on to how formerly, previously, or prior to that, it was at a quarter midnight for these rather biblically prophetic times. How are you all doing? And that's including any of you all among yourselves. Being of any visitors to my personal channel and our chat room, being of whatsoever races, and likewise, unlike my social media family, whatever walks of life, factions of society, lifestyle preferences, although they're not that being which is to be considered for the last mention. Well, hopefully everyone is doing at least okay. And not better yet, to be said, all right, or if not best of all, to be said, to be feeling blessed and stressed, more blessed and stressed, too blessed to possibly become or be stressed, you and yours, your family, friends, and me and mine. But then, regardless of whatever I myself can or could possibly discuss to some such matters, or whatever I would say best the correct, proper standing English grammar of the American dialect of some such qualities and quantities or not. But then, hopefully, with that much less usage of experience of profanity, much rather than instead of with that much more, in other words, cuss words, just simply say. And therefore, hopefully, in addition, I would sound off that much less like someone who seems to be the lesser of two evils, being that of a prodigal son, compared to how the worst two evils is any of those being of the likes of false brethren, of the worst of the worstest of unbelievers and unbelievers, being of deceivers, who pretend to have become, pretend to be believers in God, as in Christians, aka Protestants. And therefore, they being among those to be possibly considered among themselves would be the worst, and the worst system clause of devil worshippers, being of who make up the majority or most churchgoers or whatsoever, or whatever religious denominations, from the pools to pulpits, or members and visitors alike, of those supposed so-called holier than thous, uh, false prophets and or antichrist, of religious church hypocrites, religious con artists, religious chameleons, religious shysters, religious phonies, or religious fakes are the same. Being modern day religious Pharisees and our Sadducees, or wolves in sheep's clothing, or snakes in the grass. Of the supposed so-called holier than thous, being the likes of the same, the said in question, and of the previous prior mention. Yes. And regardless of whatever I could speak upon, getting back to that being a person or a person I myself, did no killer master under here to personally deliver. All right. And if I could possibly offend somebody at some or such a given moment in time, then please feel free to pull my coattail or let me know. But then use discretion. Make use thereof than to go about it otherwise. Because if you do, take care of necessary business and in another some or such other kind of way, then more than likely involves law. I myself personally will not listen to you. And furthermore, if you persist in coming off like some sort, such a type, or some kind of an internet troll in a negative, then I will silence your chat, and then I will permanently block you. And very few persons, being of whom I do block, do I permit to regain access to my personal channel and our chat room, or whereas most I would block for all time, not ever think to let them, acquire entry once again. However said. Okay. And now that I have gotten the basic preliminaries out the way for the intro and introduction, then let me commence with the exercise, as it is a verbal sentiment to be expressed. As you notice, that and this I say is regardless of whether or not I would speak upon a couple, few or four more matters than just one, regardless of whether that of topic of discussion to be debated or that of a given argument with the many different views and opinions thereof affiliated or associated with and representing that being of which is to be possibly considered is a controversy or not, or is a plague upon any given society for a country or nation in the world or not. Okay. And now, let me say, now that I got the preliminary basic intro out the way, introduction, Then, Happy New Year, everybody. Old man, old year has gone out, went out like a light, whatever, and baby New Year is in. Here we are from 2020 to 2021, the first day of the new year. Yes, Happy New Year, everybody. Hopefully, it will be a fresh start for anybody and everybody, because life is much too short to be feeding into a whole lot of negativity, of a conflict of interest, being of which does not benefit anybody. It benefits none whatsoever. You hear what I'm saying? You know what I mean? God forbid. Yeah, but anyway, though, other than that, I stayed up way past my bedtime, which I usually go to bed at 11 p.m., regardless of any proverbial neighbors from hell or public problem neighbors to throw a monkey wrench in that particular, in that particular program or in those plans for myself. Yeah. And whereas now it's going on 3 a.m. in the morning as I go to bed at 11 p.m. regardless, as I was saying. Yeah. So I'm going to try to speed dial this broadcast and then take it from there. You know what I'm saying? I mean, yeah. Anyway, though, I'm myself. I guess I feel okay. Since last I was on here, and regardless of what could possibly become would be the future of the world, be we on the brink of destruction on the horizon, an impending World War III or the second coming of Christ, or both to happen at the same time. Yeah, I feel pretty good. I feel okay. Yeah. And regardless of how many times I have lost at a certain video game, and as a result of developments, possibly that much more than half, as in most of the disturbances that interrupt my video game is coming from a proverbial publicity problem neighbor who assumes that by coming off like a cowardly bully and Ontario's wannabe with all the extreme excessive noises that he makes, that is going to help anybody. It won't even help himself. So I say, and keeping it real. I mean, hey, that's me, baby. That's why we're even doing. Yeah, it is what it is. Take it for what you want. So I say, as believing God, not as one of them fakes, religious church hypocrites, There's an old saying that goes, sometimes you have to fake it before you make it, but not necessarily so, you know, all the time. Well, not, at least not in this world. I wish somebody would that took the fake salvation in the next and see what it do for you. See where it lands you. As in the lake of fire, a damn hell. You better believe it. Because that's where you will end up if you have not accepted Christ as your personal Lord and Savior. And recognize that or realize what he himself had done or did upon the cross of Calvary on the hill of Golgotha, suffering at the hands of some of the Roman soldiers upon the orders of their religious superiors, being the Pharisees and Sadducees, but then nevertheless, whereas he himself had went to that cross of Calvary, become the perfect sacrifice, the only sacrifice for you as well as for me, so that if any of us being of whatsoever races and of whatever walks of life, faction, society, lifestyle preferences, being of the old and young alike, both two sexual genders, being a male and females, both of two sexual genders. I think you get the general idea. What I'm trying to say. So anybody being on whatsoever reason, whatever walks of life, faction, society, or lifestyle preferences, being of the old and young like both two sexual genders, male and female represent not only the human species, but then the global community within this post 911 era of our new millennium, this apocalyptic day and age, where the doomsday clock would become or be at a couple few minutes to midnight, compared on how formerly prior to then, it was at a quarter of midnight for these rather biblically prophetic times, where to profess some such faith in him, and that would become or be blessed among God in more ways than one. First and foremost, whereas he would give us that salvation, then of which only he himself can give, to keep us out of lake of fire, damn hell, and that will permit us entry or access to the kingdom of heaven. The second of all, while we're down here, we'll be blessed with that of the first. You have got to get his salvation, otherwise you have nothing coming so far as any blessings is concerned. And whereas from there, your final destination would be the lake of fire, damn hell, to be assembled with the rest of the unsaved unbelievers or non-believers who have not accepted Christ as a personal Lord and Savior, but keep pussyfooting it, because you're not supposed to wait until you're on your last leg of this journey of life and then and there decide that you want to accept Christ as your personal Lord and Savior, being because it don't work like that. You know what I'm saying? And people in hell do want ice water. If anything, what anybody should do is accept Christ, while you're still in the land of living, than to seem like you gasping for air to come off of a lab table in a hospital, because the devil and his demons are trying to take you under, trying to pull you in to suffer for all time for having rejected so great a salvation. Y'all take care of him. God bless.